Ever since I recall, I have followed football, and ingrained in my heart are the Rangers FC. Through good and the bad, times of happy or sad, it will always be Rangers for me. For when I was a lad, I was led by the hand down the Paisley Road West. I will never forget that beautiful sight of the red, blue and white. From the day I'd be Rangers for life. And I vowed to my dad, if I too have a lad, I would show him the way as he did on that day. And so now here I stand with young Lyle by the hand, after walking down Paisley Road West.
Welcome along to the second edition of Down the Paisley Road West, and again we're at the Wee Rangers Club. We're delighted that our next guest is Rangers legend of the 60s, Mr Davie Wilson. Davie, welcome to the Wee Club.
Thank you, Simon.
You started at Rangers in 1952, I believe.
1952 as a schoolboy. It wasn't known then that schoolboys were training at Ibrox at that time. As a matter of fact, at that time I was probably the only one that was training there. Ralphie Brand stayed in Edinburgh, so it was too far for him to come through.
And was that you all the way through to your career? You were with Rangers, or did you go to other clubs as a boy?
No, I left Rangers, went to Dundee United for 4.5 years, and when Jimmy McLean became the manager, I left the club.
And then you were signed by Scott Simon, I believe?
I was signed by, after Dundee United. You know, I trained at, when Scott Simon was the manager at Partick Thistle, I was allowed to train there.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I scored the 2 goals that put them in the first division.
Brilliant. So, the big day comes and you sign full-time for the famous Glasgow Rangers. Can you tell us a wee bit about that?
Well, I was very young when I signed. I think I was only just turned 17 and I signed. After that, it was just playing in the reserves for maybe, I think I played for 3/4 of a season, and then Simon brought me in, played with 1 game, which we won at Dundee, took me out, brought me back at Motherwell a fortnight later, and I think I scored 2 that game. So from then on, it was a game here and a game there, and it did me very well playing me that way.
And I believe you were coached along at the time with a good friend of us both, wee Johnny Hubbard.
Johnny was a great help to me at Ibrox. Helped me in every way he could, and he knew I was going to take his position off him. Johnny Hubbard was a brilliant man for Rangers then.
Great. What's your thoughts on the current wingers?
Well, current wingers nowadays have to play midfield as well as a winger, and I don't think that I would have scored as many goals as I did as a winger, but I was a goal scorer. I wasn't one who trailed back like what they do now.
You played in the 60s, and the standards at the club at the time were at its highest. I've just said Bill Stouff as the manager, Bill's left, we've now got Scott Simon in charge. So how was the standards off the field and on the field as a Rangers player?
Oh, you had to live up to the name of being a Rangers. Every time we went to Ibrox, we had to wear a tie. We had to wear a tie. We have to be well dressed and show that you are a true Ranger.
And these standards, I believe, you still keep to this day, because any time I see yourself or your fellow teammates, they're still immaculate when you're representing the club.
If we didn't come in dressed, had a tie on, we could have been sent home.
It was nothing but the best for the Rangers in the 80s?
Nothing but the best. Jimmy Baxter might have changed that a wee bit, as he changed a lot of things at Ibrox.
So we're talking about some of the fantastic players in the Rangers team, and the players you played against. So As a winger, you've obviously been kicked up and down and have kicked lumps out of you. So tell me about the people, the hard men you played against, and after that I want you to tell me about the two famous Rangers hard men of that era, of Bobby Shearer and Big Harry Davis.
Hard men never bothered me, because I worried the life out of them when I get near that penalty box.
Aye.
I get quite a fair amount of penalties. The reason now that you don't get penalties is wingers don't get a chance to get in that box. I would have get in that box, don't you worry, but once I was in, they were, the full-backs or end defender, they were very worried. It was once said that I could get a penalty kick from the centre line.
Aye. So then the big teammates, Harold Davis and Bobby Shearer.
Oh,
tell us a bit about them.
Very hard tacklers, very, but fair. Harry Davis, I won't tell you about the European Cup game in Belgium, I think it was.
So is that legend true then? My father used to tell me about chasing the big Belgian.
Oh, I chased the boy with the glasses, aye. And the boy stopped behind the goals because he couldn't go any further, he would have been in the crowd. And Harry stopped, put his hand on his hips and laughed.
Aye.
Aye.
Fantastic. And I believe he had a few run-ins with Jimmy Baxter as well.
Aye, well once he hung Jimmy Baxter by his jacket up on the peg and turned to everybody and said, if anybody touches him before I come back in, they'll be up beside him.
So what did you say to him?
Nobody touched him. Jimmy's hung up there for 10 minutes till Harry walked back in and lifted him off the peg.
Then there was Bobby Shearer. Some memories of Bobby?
Oh, great friend of mine, a great pal. Picked me up when I was a young boy at halfway, as he came from Hamilton, and picked me up to take me to training and all that. Was a gentleman really.
And a true Rangers captain.
A true Rangers captain. Nobody knows, but Bobby Shearer played for 6 months with a broken bone in his foot. He went through hell with it.
And when was that diagnosed?
Well, it was diagnosed at the time and he says, I'm not going to stop playing, I need to keep playing, somebody else might come and take my position.
No health and safety man, Eddie?
No, nothing like that. But Bobby, and it never stopped him, it never deterred him in any way.
True grit player, and I wouldn't imagine him maybe a complainer or a moaner, he would have just got tore in.
No, he just was a moaner when you weren't doing enough.
He was on your time. Aye. That's fantastic. So some great memories there of the harder players in the team. When the Rangers came to Wolverhampton Town, tell us about your memories of it.
Oh, we beat them I think it was 2-1, and it was a terrible night. It was pouring the rain. And Ian McMillan and I were last off the park, but we couldn't get into the pavilion, the changing room, because Scott and Simon had locked the door and we were locked outside with all the fans who were trying to get in.
So you couldn't get back in?
No, we had to shout, somebody shouted, Davie and Ian's still out there. And Simon opened the door and let the two of us in. Oh, it was some night that night.
And what about the actual game? On the park?
Well, I think it was 2-1. Yeah, my memory doesn't go way back easily to 1960 odds.
But they were a great team. Wolverhampton at the time were a fantastic side.
I think I played in 2 different positions against them. I think I was inside right one game and outside right the other game.
Another thing regarding that night, that from what I can remember reading the research on it, and my dad speaking about it, and that was the supporters. Supporters came from
phenomenal.
The supporters took over again.
Aye. We had more supporters than Wolverhampton had.
Aye.
Aye.
And I can imagine you could hear them.
Oh, they were singing.
Right behind the team.
I think they come onto the park after it, aye.
Aye.
Because they were trying to get into the pavilion to say to the team well done. But It was only Ian McMillan and me, and I think we were lifted shoulder high.
Aye.
And couldn't get into the dressing room.
And it was a fantastic result for the Rangers, obviously getting to the big European final. That was Rangers' first European final.
Aye.
So that was using his go there and the fans. There must have been a great buzz about the club at the time then.
Oh, there was. There was a great buzz about it. I mean, we would probably, every game we played then started late.
Right. Because
of the crowds wanting to get in.
And we've got a great element of loyal fans, and you must have experienced that.
Even today, I mean, that place is full nearly every week. 51,000. That's a lot of people nowadays for the prices.
Aye.
It's a lot of people.
So we're going to go into another famous story that they speak about when they do the Rangers tour. I'm going to ask you about Davie Wilson and your famous bowler hat.
Well, that was a cup final when we beat Celtic 3-0. And we went up to get the cup and get our winner's badge. And as I was passing John Wilson Jr., he was a director then, he waited till I come up and he put his bowler hat on my head. And as I was going up, it was still on my head when I went up to get my badge. And I think later on I gave that to Ralphie Brand.
And Ralphie Brand, I believe, later on handed it into the Rangers trophy, the Rangers manager's room, and it still sits there.
It still sits here.
That wee piece of Rangers history is still there. And obviously we spanked them 3-0, which helps. Was that the 1963 Scottish Cup final?
It was. Ralphie scored 2 and I scored 1.
Okay, so one of the questions, one of the viewers had asked, and they asked me 3 questions regarding that match. Was, how many would we have scored if Big Jimmy Baxter hadn't taken the, we'll say the P. If Jimmy Baxter hadn't taken it that night, how many would the Rangers have scored against them?
Aye, well, Jimmy was occasionally doing that. I mean, it was nothing for Jimmy to do that. And I remember that's why he got his broken ankle. I think it was in Austria.
That's right.
It was 2-0 against Vienna. And then I shouted to Jimmy, "There's a minute to go, give me the ball, I'll get to the other end and we'll take it in the corner." "Oh no, I'm going to take the P out." And the boy come in and says, "Aye, so you are." Bang! You heard the bone break. Oh, I heard it. I knew right away.
Immediately.
Aye.
Because that was a fine performance for the Rangers that night as well.
Oh, it's a great 2-0 away from home.
Aye.
In the European Cup.
So anyway, back to the question, we're getting a wee bit lost there, a wee bit of nostalgia taken in. So when Jimmy Baxter, he was as gallus as you can get. He's on the park, Rangers win 3-0, but did that annoy you and the players at the time, or did you just want to get more goals?
No, Jimmy was always doing that. He did that in cup finals as well. He did it at Wembley against England. I mean,
a true showman.
Jimmy, but he was a great player. He was a great player, so we allowed him to be a great showman, didn't we?
So I think I know the answer to the next part then. Was it really that easy that night?
Aye, it was very easy. Aye.
Excellent. So we're going on to the strikers at the team, and the Rangers team at the time with Ralphie Brand and later on with Jim Forrest.